So it's time to check out the extreme metal band from the USA. The extreme metal band, which everybody seems to have difficulty in pronouncing, myself included. I'm referring to Sanguisugabogg. Well, that's my attempt to pronounce it anyway. It's quite an interesting band name because it derives from sanguisuga being the Latin word for leech, and bog being a reference to a marshy wasteland, a slang word for toilet, or it could be a reference to the surname of the band founder Cameron Boggs. Who knows, that might come up in a quiz one day and you'll have me to thank. With jokes aside and random trivia to one side, let's talk about Sanguisugabogg and their album Hideous Aftermath. I feel like they're a band I really should have seen by now, especially seeing that they came across on a few different tour packages, including supporting Suffocation in early 2024. But now, I guess it's my chance to see what the band are all about. It's interesting that they've only been around since 2019 and they've only released 2 albums to date. I find it interesting because they seem to play with such maturity and a real throwback to the old school death metal days, that kind of late 80s, early 90s Obituary and early 90s Suffocation. That kind of no glitz, no glamour, just straight up pummeling death metal. It's definitely on the more slow and brutal side of death metal. It's quite painful and bludgeoning at times, and it's exactly what they want. It works for them. There's no blast beats, no frantic aggression that you get from other bands in the genre. And again, it does venture into slam at times, especially with some absolutely crushing breakdowns. One of the early songs on the album, Hideous Testimony, really stood out to me, and I think it's a good example of this approach to the genre and really sums up Sanguisugabogg's sound very well. The band's drummer Cody really stands out to me on this record. I mean, the single Rotted Entanglement is a great example of his skills behind the kit. Sometimes he gets up to such frightening speed on a double kick, you must think he's got motor-powered ankles, because again the speed he gets up to is quite terrifying, and it's the only logical explanation to think he's half robot. Yeah, he goes beyond the typical blast beats you hear in the genre, and he does a great job of holding the groove down with some more interesting and sophisticated patterns. Despite being old school death metal, there's definitely some songs that are more in stoner and sludgy territory. For example, To Grow a Mountain. I thought it was pretty cool, but then I found out it was a cover by Crowbar. But then again, there's an original song, Paid in Flesh, which is definitely original. It's 8 minutes long. The first half, more death metal. The other half, definitely get into that stoner territory with some absolutely slow, brutal, simple riffs. Simple, not being derogatory, but, well, it's not derogatory, it's just maximum impact, maximum tone and emotion. And yeah, you've got to have a listen to that, it's fantastic. They also like to venture into that industrial territory, especially when you listen to Repulsive Demise. It's a lot groovier, a lot more catchy, got some subtle use of synths in the background. And I think vocalist Devin, he locks in with the bass, guitar and drums. He's almost like a fourth instrument there, with his growls, mixing in with all that low end. And yeah, it's just so groovy and catchy, it feels like a song Nine Inch Nails would have wrote back in the day. It's definitely one to check out, one of the highlights on the record for me. The band's guitarist is really talented as well, and the song's semi-automatic facial reconstruction, there's an absolute monster of a riff on there. That got replayed multiple times, and I'm pretty sure you'll replay it multiple times when you get to hear it. The production works as well. It's not too polished, not too sharp, but it doesn't sound like it's been recorded in the basement either. It retains just that level of grit you need for the genre. But yeah, I think having one guitarist in the band works really well. It doesn't make it muddy, it sounds clear enough, but there's probably some double, triple tracking in there somewhere, but it's just heavy enough without being too overwhelming. Honestly, I'm sold on Sanguisugabogg now. I'm sold on Hideous Aftermath. It's not a genre breaker, but it really is a good solid old school death metal band, with them not attempting to recreate the wheel, but definitely put their own stamp on it here and there. They're coming to the UK in February 26, and I'm pretty sure I'll be there now.